All right, hi everybody. My name is David Bailey. I am your instructor for English 1010. And, well, here we are still in the throes of the coronavirus digital revolution. Now, the way I plan on teaching this class is obviously through a lot of video lecture. I like this method, and these videos will be rolled out on a pretty regular basis. The way that I'm planning on structuring this class, the quote-unquote meeting times, I'm going to post 2 YouTube videos a week. That's going to be like our class meetings. For the YouTube videos, I will introduce things like assignment descriptions, topics to consider, and general lecture stuff as I'm telling you about strategies for your writing, how to go about doing particular assignments, and just moving the class along in a way that's a little bit more reflective of a classical lecture process. In a lot of ways, these video lectures can be very useful because if I talk about stuff that's confusing, it's kind of nice to just be able to back me up and listen to it all over again, right? This is very much designed with that in mind. I will provide handouts. I'm not very good at displaying stuff as I teach it, so I might refer to a handout and ask you to have it either on the screen or printed out. I am working on that. I know there's a lot of interesting ways to record videos and have stuff on the screen. I'm pretty tech savvy, but there are still some lines I'm kind of worried about crossing. There also is what I would like to introduce, a concurrent session. The school really wants me and all the instructors to try to have a kind of live weekly session. I actually think this is a pretty good idea, but it's going to take some finagling. It's going to take some experimentation to get this up and running. I have some programs that I can use. I'm looking at Microsoft Teams, and there's a couple of others. Collaborate. The way I'm thinking about doing this is once a week, I'll put out a standard time for every class. So I'm making up a schedule now, and I will go live every week. And you will be able to join that live session. I would very much like to avoid teaching new material on live sessions because I have a feeling that since this is an online class, you guys probably haven't partitioned out time for it. So requiring you to come to these live sessions, I think, is a little too much to ask. So these live sessions, the primary purpose will be to answer questions and maybe introduce some ideas to kind of help you along if you're having trouble in the assignments or anything else. So I don't want to make these concurrent sessions required. They'll be kind of a bonus type thing. You show up in those pretty regularly, I have no problem boosting your points on a grade that you may have missed or misunderstood, or even buff your grade if something went wrong. So that's how I'm going to tackle the concurrent sessions. As far as attendance goes, attendance is important because that's a really hard metric to look at on an online environment, and attendance is going to be important. What I'm planning, I'm going to start some discussion forums. The first will be a general question and answer forum. That will be a place for you guys to go in, ask questions, chit chat about your favorite bands, Boys Who Have Broken Your Hearts, The Matrix. If anybody can tell me what that quote's from, I'll give you a point. But that'll be a general question answer. One of the first things I'm going to ask you to do is go into the general question forum and either introduce yourself or tell me how awesome I am. That'll be your first attendance. After that, I'm going to have a discussion forum devoted to weekly discussion exercises. And these will typically play into something I'm teaching, whether it be grammatical or topical. I'll ask you to write something very specific within the videos. I'll try to make sure that it include a write-up of that as well, so you'll have something to kind of read about it as opposed to just having to go and mine the information out of the videos. But go into those discussion videos, answer those questions. That will be your attendance. That'll tell me you've watched the video, you're participating, bada bing, bada boom. So, what are we going to be doing in here? English 1010 is the basic skills course. the way that I translate that, this class caters to students who are going into cosmetology, going into welding, various medical fields, some, what is it? Accounting, PR stuff. You guys are getting education to jump straight into the job force, which is, I've read a lot of scholarship about how good this strategy is. Getting this degree and getting this training is an excellent way to position yourself to have all sorts of dynamic options. So what I want this class mainly to do, I want to arm you with some skills that will be useful in the workforce, but I don't want to model it in a way that you're writing in the workforce right now because lame. I'd like to play around with some stuff and give you some creative things to do that will strengthen the writing that you'll need to do on a day-to-day basis. So I'm very much about giving you strategies that strengthen and not necessarily choking you by constantly evaluating your writing for pure correctness. Because pure correctness and pure formality isn't as useful in the real world as a lot of English teachers like to think that it is. Having strength, having detail, being able to knock out something quick and in a dynamic way, that's useful. The second thing I would like to do would be to increase your confidence. So many of my students who come into English 1010 immediately tell me, I'm a bad writer. Yeah, me too. And I teach it. So think about that for a minute. We're all bad writers. And the reason that we're all bad writers is because we're starting, right? We're always in a position of starting. I'm writing a book right now. And every time I sit down to add to my latest chapter, I want to set it on fire and shove it up my nose when I'm done with it. And it's because it's bad. The first attempt is always bad. Writing is a process that you go through, not something that you are intrinsically good or bad at. And for me, it's not even necessarily a facet of skill or knowledge. It's about familiarity. It's like exercising a muscle. The more you do it and the more you do it well, the stronger you're going to get. And so one of the things that I value most out of these classes is my ability to try to strengthen your confidence. You don't have to come out of this class and be like, oh yeah, I'm Neil Gaiman up in here. But if you just come in and somebody says, I need you to write something, you're like, okay, that'll be a challenge, but I'll figure it out. I really don't want you guys to say that to yourself anymore. I'm a bad writer. No, I mean, you are, yeah. But again, me too. I want you guys to feel at least some confidence so that you don't necessarily have to beat yourself down anytime this task comes up. So evaluation for this class is going to be about growth. I want to see that you've changed things. I want to see that you've got some new behaviors, that you have some tricks that you have up your sleeve to sharpen that writing and make it more even readable, right? These are the things that can make you stand out in the workforce. Something that will take you from someone who stays down and keeps in the same position their whole life to something that gets you noticed. And someone in a position of authority is like, listen, you watch that person. They know what they're doing. Writing is a very quick avenue for that. That's what I want for you from this course. So often we hear students ask English teachers, when am I ever going to use this? And it's a good question. And a lot of us English teachers don't really have a good answer for that. But for English 1010, that's what I think the value of it is. These types of skills will help you move up, right? Will help you communicate the value of your ideas and get you noticed in the workforce that often is geared towards not noticing anyone. Writing is your way to break through that barrier. And we're going to figure that out together. Now, let me look at my notes here and see if there's anything else. I've covered a little bit of the class procedures. We talked about the 2 YouTube videos. Roughly the schedule for this class, a little subject to change because I do like to move things around a little bit, always to suit you, never to suit me. Roughly, your assignments are going to be coming in due dates of 3-week intervals. So when an assignment is due, you can automatically assume you're going to have about 3 weeks before the next one comes due. Now, there are times when I'll ask you to do stuff to follow up to that assignment that I might grade and build up to it. I just realized I'm doing the math in my head. This is roughly 10 weeks. I might need to back that down to 2. I might have to erase this video. I'm going to have to go back and do an addendum for that. You know what else I could do, though? I could actually back off and condense 2 of the assignments into 1 and give you grades for both slots. I tell you what, my brain is... So let's keep it at that, about 3 weeks. That's about what you can expect. Late work is going to hurt you. Not because I'm going to throw it out as a 0, but because you're not going to get the chance to get as much feedback from me. I want to try really hard to give you some good feedback. I want to tell you how to get better grades, right? Because one of the things I'm going to look at here is when you turn in a piece of work to me, you never have to assume that grade is going to stand. You have the opportunity to revise it and change it later. Turning that work in late is going to rob you of that opportunity, and that grade's going to get locked in. I just can't do it. I got a lot of students in this class, and I can't spend the time with you that I want if I'm constantly chasing after late assignments and checking multiple drop boxes. So anytime a drop box is posted, I will let you know. I'll make sure to put up either an announcement or an email. Let me actually say something about the email real quick. I use mass emails in this class to email all the students at one time. It's a very useful method to communicate. I will send an email today. I think I've already actually sent one. Be sure to check your inboxes for it. Last semester, I had a problem with my emails going to spam. You're going to miss a lot of information if that happens. We'll figure that out as we go along. And if that issue props up, we'll figure out a way to address it. Okay. But make sure you're checking your spam folders, because I will send another email today. If you don't get it, then that means that something's happened to it. It could have gone to a spam folder. I talked about my grading policy, writing a function, class philosophy, procedures. I think I've covered about everything I want in here. For now, because I wanted to keep this video simple, quick hello, just go into the general question answer forum, ask a question, introduce yourself, or talk about how awesome my Undertaker t-shirt from WrestleMania is. That's AJ Styles' hand coming out of the ground after the Undertaker buried him alive. Y'all, it was great. Oh, one last thing. If you're having any trouble with YouTube videos, which is really stupid to say in a YouTube video, because if you're having trouble with YouTube videos, probably not going to hear this. But if you're having trouble viewing YouTube videos for any reason at all, let me know. I want this class to be functional and easy to access for everyone. There are ways to do the captions underneath it in case that's an issue. So don't be afraid to contact me. I can get transcripts. There's a lot of things that we can do to address that issue. So I'm looking forward to working with you guys in English 1010 summer 2020, otherwise known as the hell time. But Thursday, I'm going to give you guys a nice detailed description of what our first assignment will be, and then we will move from there. Thank you guys very much, and I hope you are having an excellent day. It's my birthday, by the way.